All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to America's Mom. We do have a special show today. We normally do not go live on Thursdays. We are Monday, Wednesday, Friday on X America News on X. And we haven't been doing a lot of lives here on Facebook and some of the other social media platforms outside of X America News because we have a lot of work to do, honestly, going on behind the scenes. Every day is full, and there is no way on earth that we can turn over everything that has to be done to one man in Washington, D.C., and say, oh, he's there, so he'll take care of everything. That's not how it works. Right now, momentum is with us. The wind literally is under our wings if we will take advantage of this time in history and get things right. Set the path straight. That's what we're trying to do right now. We have an unbelievable opportunity to correct a lot of wrongs that have happened, not just in the last 5 years, but for decades, whether it's the public education system, whether it is local legal issues, whether it is obviously the grooming and pedophilic nature of the left towards our children in both legislation and the public school system at large. Not only is it failing them academically, but it's being propped up as a place for pedophiles to come and hang out and get to your kids. It's wild times right now, and I really hope you guys are here for the battle. Just want to thank Steve again for having me on. Yes, I know I wasn't looking at the camera. Whatever. You get it. Lindell Plan, of course, to help support Tina Peters. I want to give an update on that. And then, of course, the grooming situation in Colorado. I want to elaborate more on that story because when you're going on War Room for 5 minutes, you really cannot get into the nuts and bolts of exactly what's going on, why that is happening, who you need to contact, what the call to action is. I'm going to get to all of that because it's really, really important. The whole reason we started America's Mom was to protect the innocence of our children. The whole reason we got involved in elections is because we realized, oh my gosh, the people who make the rules are the elected officials. I mean, we thought they were elected. I don't know. It's looking more and more like selections across the board. You cannot tell me that anybody in Colorado, minus the 0.005% who are completely pedoed out, right, voted for Jared Polis and his policies. You cannot tell me that that actually happened. It didn't happen. I just do not believe it. I know it didn't. You know how I know? Because you wouldn't send the whole weight of the federal government against a few citizens to shut them up and shut them down if they one weren't being effective, and if the ring of truth wasn't in their message and permeating across the landscape, right? Because we know truth when we hear it. We hear so many freaking lies all the time that when truth finally comes in, we hear it and we know it, and our heart literally connects with that. And I've heard people say it this way, and I couldn't agree more. When you hear the truth, it's like this fire wells up inside of you, and you have to do something about it. We've all been there. You cannot tell me that the people of Colorado have voted for Jared Polis and all of this horrific nonsense. I don't believe it. I don't know why Jared Polis gets a pass from Fox News and Megyn Kelly and any one of them else. I'd love to hear Megyn Kelly come out and say she's wrong for ever allowing Jared Polis to come on and be called a middle of the road libertarian business promoting blue shoe wearing, sometimes a cowboy hat, regular old man. I'd love to see her. I'd love to see her denounce him at this point. I would also love to see him be called out for what he actually is, what he's doing, what he's allowing, and the bills that he's signing into law in Colorado. But MSM does not do that. So we regular people have to get on here and act like we know what the heck we're doing and alert the public to what is happening, the deep rot that is spreading out throughout this country through the Democrat blueprint as outlined in the book, The Democrat Blueprint. Every American who cares about the direction of this country needs to get that book now and watch it or read it. And then you can watch a very short video about what the Democrat Blueprint is. It is still in play. You guys, it's still in play. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. And more now than ever, I'm worried that America is going to be lackadaisical, that we are going to be more apathetic than ever because we are trusting that President Trump can fix everything, that his cabinet selections can fix everything. That is the federal government, you guys. And what matters so much is what's going on in our own state. And of course, we have the wind beneath us. There's no doubt about it to support us in taking back our own backyards, our own communities, our own states. That's what this is about right now. It is the culture shift that President Trump is bringing for all of us so that we can secure our own communities again. So I want to really encourage you, please do not just sit back and think everything's great and enjoy the next 2 years, really. It's not going to work that way. We've got to be very aggressive. So let's get to it. I want to start with the Tina Peters update and exactly what's going on with the Tina Peters case right now. Gateway Pundit put out a great article updating everybody on the U.S. Attorney inquiry that was submitted by the U.S. Attorney's Office just about a month ago, maybe a little bit longer. And they were asking the question of whether or not Clerk Peters was a victim of the political targeting of the DOJ and local law enforcement as well, the Secretary of State of Colorado and the Attorney General Phil Weiser of Colorado. And they're asking the question, a woman who'd never had any criminal history whatsoever, she did not interfere in elections, even though Colorado repeatedly put that headline out everywhere you go. Go Google Tina Peters. See what comes up. Interference in elections. That is not what happened. That's not what she was charged with. That because it never happened. She never interfered in anything. Okay. She didn't interfere in any election. She did not manipulate any machines. She did not open any machines. She did not break Colorado law. She did not break Colorado law. She was upholding state law to preserve election records, which she did. And she was also upholding federal law to preserve federal election records, which she did. Okay. Had she not taken the action she took, those election records would not have been preserved. Period. End of story. That's the whole case right there. Whether or not she did that, but that's not even open for discussion. We know she did. We know she protected all of the election information for both federal and state elections from 2020 and 2021. So that's not up for debate, but that's the crux of the foundation regarding Clerk Tina Peters in the U.S. inquiry. Did she do her job to uphold the federal law? Yes, she did. And was she targeted for that reason? Yes, she was. We have told you and shown you in the past the emails from Dan Rubenstein's office. He's the district attorney of Mesa County. The emails coming from his office as late as May of 22, another year later, right? 9 months later from the time that they raided her office. And he still didn't know what he's going to charge her with. He's reaching out to district attorneys across the country saying, "Hey, we need to form our own group out from the watchful eye of the Colorado District Attorney's accountability organization." By the way, they wanted to create a whole separate organization so they didn't have this watchful eye over them, determining whether what they were doing was, right or not, right? So that's also in the email. And he's saying, I just, don't know. Basically, he's saying it says, I don't know what to charge her with because she didn't commit a crime. This has been the most outrageous thing, most outrageous case. Watching all this play out, testifying in the trial, it was insane. You couldn't say anything. You literally could say nothing. That would be even you couldn't tell your testimony. You couldn't give your side of events at all. I'm thankful for Signal chat groups. That's what I can tell you. Thankful for Signal chat groups, which show the truth and prove that there was no malfeasance and that the only person who was really lying that day was Jerry Wood. That would be the man who said his identity was stolen by Clerk Peters. And one of the charges that was brought against her, for whatever reason, 3 felonies were dropped about that because it was very evident that his identity was not stolen and the jury knew it. But they kept one, and I still never understood that. If I ever get to talk to any of the jury members, I want to understand why they kept one of those charges. It doesn't make any sense. Either she stole his identity or she didn't. And so that was very strange. But that was the only one who was lying in that courtroom that during that time. And I'm sure that life will play hard for him. It will play out very hard for him. So Tina Peters right now has been moved to a low security prison in Pueblo, Colorado. And it seems from the recent update I just had, their spirits are good. She's feeling a lot better. Things seem to be going a little bit better, just wellness wise, which is so great to hear. But what's happening now? The inquiry there was a hearing on the 22nd where the Attorney General Phil Weiser was attempting to get the inquiry thrown out. He wanted a judge to rule and say, nope, no, we're not going to have an inquiry by the federal government over this particular case. Thankfully, the judge has said, nope, we're moving forward. We're moving forward. He's going to take a look at everything and then he'll make his judgment. And I was very glad to hear that. The Attorney General's office also tried to cancel the hearing the day before, claiming someone had the stomach flu. So that didn't work out well for them. They had to move forward with things. They apparently weren't very prepared, and they just claimed that that the federal government was setting a new precedent of interference. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. Were you here for the last 4 years to see how much interference Biden's regime did everywhere? Everywhere. I mean, it's just laughable at this point when the left tries to defend their prize for limited government. It's really, really funny. I also think it's funny that the left has all of a sudden become, scholars of history. They are examining everything. I mean, even English common law. They've decided to take on English common law and apply it to modern day problems. It's really fascinating to watch them become students of history all of a sudden, and scholars, by the way. That's happening everywhere. And patriots also. I mean, gosh, they're so patriotic defending the Constitution from Orange Man Bad. It's really amazing. So right now we're waiting for that to be rescheduled. And then also there was an issue of a filing for Clerk Peters' actual appeal for her sentencing. And that has been extended. They're going to be filing more paperwork for that soon. But essentially, what's needed to happen is a very powerful legal team is needed to be brought on to really be aggressive, work quickly, and do what is necessary to get Clerk Peters hopefully out of prison. That's the goal. That's what needs to happen. And so right now, the goal is to bring on a couple of new attorneys and really start mounting and building this legal case the way that it should have been. And we are so grateful for those attorneys who stepped in. Obviously, it was not popular. You saw what happened during the Biden administration. Attorneys who were getting involved in anything dealing with elections were being censured. Their ability to practice law was being taken from them, starting with Sidney Powell and John Eastman and many, 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 many others, and the threats even of having your license pulled if you were defending anything having to do with elections was very real, as well as just within a state or within a community, if you're being a part of a case that nobody wants you to do, no judge wants you to be doing it, DAs don't want you to be doing it, you're blackballed. And that definitely has happened in the case of Clerk Tina Peters. So it's been very difficult for the attorneys who have stepped in to try to represent her, and that it has not been an easy task at all by any stretch of the imagination. So we're grateful for those ones. It's almost like we're in the wrestling ring and it's time to tap the next partner, the next person who's got the energy and the creative ideas and solutions to jump in, and let's move forward, and let's finish this. That's where things are at right now for Clerk Tina Peters. I want to encourage everybody to go to lindellplan.com and contribute today. There are going to be ongoing, expenses. I don't know what to tell you, and what I tell myself too, how expensive it is to wage lawfare when you're fighting the government is wild. You watch people, the family right now, I know Ann Vandersteel is heavily involved in the family that is dealing with the FBI raiding their home because they chose not to vaccinate their 2-month-old child. I mean, what can you do when big government throws everything they have against you? And here you are, a regular person, needing to get public attention, needing to get people to know about your story so they can help you fight the government. That's been the whole thing for Clerk Tina Peters. She has literally had to fight the government, local municipalities, state municipalities, and federal. And by the way, the only reason she was not federally charged, you guys, is because they saw the writing on the wall that President Trump was going to be elected, and she would have been pardoned instantly from those federal charges and any kind of ruling that was brought against her. And you all know that. We all know that because she committed no crime, not just because it's President Trump and she's a Republican. Nope, it's because there was no crime. So in their debauchery, they made this a state case to ensure that she would be punished and held as a political prisoner. Just the way Steve Bannon said it is correct. She is a political prisoner. There is no doubt about it. I want to please encourage you, go to lindellplan.com, be a subscriber also. That is hugely helpful so that we know how much is coming in, so we can predict how much help we can have. What can we do? What can we bring in? Who can we bring in? What can we do in order to further this case as quickly as possible and get to a resolution here? That is the goal. Clerk Peters is 69 years old. Her sentence is 9 years. She's a strong woman. But we do not want her to have to spend the next 9 years, the next year even, in prison. So that's what's happening there. And we're going to keep you up to date on that. If you are not signed up at the Lindell Plan, it's lindellplan.com. Sign up for the daily emails, and you'll be hearing on a regular, consistent basis what we're doing, what's happening, updates from the attorneys themselves. In fact, we even host town hall calls and special Zooms for our subscribers that get to hear directly from our attorneys, even so they can ask questions and be even more involved personally, because it really helps to get the word out more and more and more. So people not only have their financial support, which we desperately need, but we need the social support. We need people constantly talking about it. I want to just give a huge shout out right now to Steve Stern. Steve Stern is in his 80s. You would not know that by meeting him and talking with him. He's in his 80s. He is a staunch supporter of Clerk Tina Peters. He right now, today, they are doing a special event all day long supporting Clerk Peters, talking about her, talking about the case, bringing forward the evidence so the public understands exactly what happened. You have experts like Clay Parikh. You have incredible voices. Of course, Mike Lindell is going to be on there also. I will post a link on Facebook and elsewhere where you guys can watch the presentations today. I believe they start in about 10 minutes. So I'll be sending that out to you guys. The Big Mig is talking about it. It's going to be OBBM Network TV. And I apologize that I don't know what that is, but it's OBBM Network.tv. And you're going to be seeing so many great voices on behalf of Clerk Tina Peters, Sheriff Mack, of course, too. John Goodman. It's going to be a really, really great gathering. Oh, you know what? I actually have the list right here. Patrick Ellis, Chris Jersky, Linda Bustinto, Patrick McSweeney, who is the lead attorney. He is the federal attorney that works on behalf of Clerk Tina Peters, and he is incredible. He's who I get my updates directly from. He works with us here at the Lindell Offense Fund. Cleta Mitchell, of course, Steve Bannon, John Goodman, Joe Hoft of the Gateway Pundit, Stephen Carr, Rocky Rockford, Lisa Bennett, Kim Harmain, Ray Michaels, Bernadette Smith, and so many more. So this is going to be an absolutely incredible time. I really encourage all of you guys to get on there, be a part of this. Again, it's going to be starting today, and actually it's going to start in about 1 hour. In 1 hour. Okay. And incredible experts on election integrity. You're not going to want to miss it. And I will post it up for you guys. OBBM Network. Never heard of it yet. So this will be exciting to see some new stuff. Anyway, so that's your update for Clerk Tina Peters right now. And we're not going to forget. We're not, it just, you just can't. We're not letting her sit there. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what's happened in the past. Doesn't matter the nonsense that's gone on. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. There's a lot of emotions involved in this stuff because you feel powerless sometimes to do anything about it. And I know I've always heard the line, wounded dogs bite. And I believe that. And I've seen it enough. And so you just have to kind of look past that and just do the work. That's what we're going to keep doing. So that's your update there. Let's talk about Colorado for a minute. I know everybody is shocked and appalled. They think it's satire. They think this is a joke. I wish it was a joke. I'm going to share you got it's not a joke though, sadly. It's actually not a joke. I wish it was. Guys, I'm going to take you to my X account right now, and all of this is posted on there for you so you can watch and see everything happening in real time. But I want to say that one of the things, oh, you know what? You can never find this stuff when you need it. Okay, forget. We won't do that. We're gonna do it. Okay. What I want to say is that this content is so disturbing. It's so disgusting and disturbing. Let me give you just a little bit of background on what exactly is going on here. Colorado has already passed the most aggressive laws in the country pertaining to the legal sexualization of children, the legal grooming and sexualization of children between the hours of 8 and 4 p.m. at the public school system, and apparently in the after club programs like Erin Lee experienced with the after school art club, where her daughter was conditioned to believe that she was a transgender at 11 years old. It took a year and a little bit more to undo all the damage that was done to Erin Lee's daughter in just 3 hours. And not just Erin Lee, but four other little girls that were in this quote art club, which was an after schools, kind of curriculum. It wasn't curriculum, it was just an after school art club program, for like your artsy kids. They could get in and learn. They thought they were learning art, okay? But instead, it was a total scam. It was to entrap these little kids and convince them that they were trannies. And that has been an ongoing theme in the state of Colorado. Jared Polis is the most disgusting human on the planet. He has signed into law every one of these bills that are further sexualizing children, further exploiting children, further separating parents from their children. And this sex class, this camp, comes out of his hometown, Boulder, Colorado, the home of CU Boulder, which CU Boulder is a supporter and a funder via taxpayer dollars, guys, of this sex ed summer camp. I don't know what you're going to do for 11 days from 8:30 to 3:30 p.m. every day. I am horrified. When I told you what happened in a 3-hour time span with very healthy little girls who had great family homes, all of that. These were not, kids who were at risk. These were healthy, solid family girls. Okay. What they did in 3 hours, I cannot imagine what they would be able to pull off from the hours of 8:30 to 3:30 for 11 days in the middle of the summer. So this is exactly what it looks like. It is a sex camp. And people, one other law you need to know about in the state of Colorado, the transgender support there is a just absolutely clown world. If you are a transgender and you go and get new paperwork in the state of Colorado, which you can do, your employer is not allowed to do a background check on your previous name, your quote, dead name, dead identity, whatever it is. It's against the law in the state of Colorado. So let's say you were a sex offender. Oh, and you went and decided you're a transgender and you change your name and maybe you change your gender on paper. Well, all of a sudden you go and apply for, I don't know, how about sex ed summer camp? How about you apply for sex ed summer camp? They can't do a background check on any other name but the one you're providing for them. This is scary stuff happening in the state of Colorado, and CU Boulder knows this. So let's just look at exactly what it is. They're going to talk about everything related to sex, body, sexuality, sexy feelings, media, power, and justice. Please keep in mind, this is kids entering into fifth to eighth grade. So that's kids who just left fourth grade, who probably are about 9 years old. I'm going to guess there's going to be 9 year olds to 16-year olds in this summer camp. And they're going to be talking about media, power, and justice, creating some little social activists. They're going to talk about bodies beyond the binary, feelings and how to navigate them, gender and sexuality, consent and communication. And just to help you understand what that means. Consent and communication. You're talking to people and telling them what you're okay with and what you're not. But really, all that matters in the state of Colorado is, did you say no? That's it. And I want you to think about that for a moment. It's not about a power struggle or imbalance of power given ages or authority or position of trust. It is, did you say no? Making the child bear the burden of an assault. Okay, that is literally what that means. And I've watched it play out multiple times. I know what I'm talking about here. And that's what they will teach these kids is all that matters is, did you say no? Next, pleasure in all sorts of ways with 9 year olds, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, maybe some 16-year olds sprinkled in there. Wow, self love and so, so, so much more. One of the things about it is they said you will learn more than you learned in school. In Colorado, that's not a good thing. But let's find out why they're doing this. Why is the Renee Crown Wellness Institute of CU Boulder hosting this event? A free event, by the way. They're picking up the tab for this one because all it's not even free though, actually, you taxpayers are paying for it. Because all humans, especially young humans, deserve information about their bodies, other people's bodies, and how to communicate about them in ways that feel fun, affirming, and exciting. Let's just be real about this. This is grooming. This is pedophilic behavior. There's going to be no way to know what is being taught, exposed to your children. This is an opportunity for them to steal their innocence. It's supported by Boulder Valley Health Center and CU Boulder, Colorado University Boulder. Ray Scott is a regent in Colorado. Ray, I want to know what's going on. Do you know about this? I sent him the graphic this morning, and I want to know that the regents are getting on top of this. This is disgusting. This is disturbing behavior. And then, of course, the Renee Crown Wellness Institute. We're going to talk more about that. And I'm going to show you guys some extremely freaky things about that. So, um, this is what's going on. This is what they're doing. And of course, Neil and I talk about this stuff, and we're not shocked anymore about what they do. But I'll give you a sec. Sorry. Sorry. I thought he was ready to go. Kind of like thought I was ready to go and can't even find the right camera to look at. You ready? Okay.
Oh, I'm so
My God. Okay. Call when you're ready. Okay, sorry. It's crazy world, but actually that's okay because I wanted to share this with you guys too. So if you go onto the CU Boulder site, and we're going to talk about the Crown family for just a second. So they're the ones funding this. They are the ones um, that are creating this institute. Okay, this is the Renee Crown Wellness Institute of Boulder. And here's the thing about it. This whole institute is very, very, very creepy. I'm gonna just pull this up so you guys can see it. Don't let me be the one to tell you how creepy this actually is. So I have this up. Give me just a second. I'm gonna pull it up in just a second here. Okay. We're gonna jump into who they are and what they are doing. Okay. Obviously, you already know that this is going to be Justice Warrior stuff. Obviously, are you ready? Okay. Ready? No. Okay. All right. So obviously, you know already that this is going to be Justice Warrior stuff. So let's just take a look at this. Renee Crown Institute and just be prepared to be like, okay, I get it. I see what's going on. So their goal is to imagine a world where everybody can thrive. They want to create public private partnerships, of course. They want to make sure that there are transformative practices, programs, and policies that promote wellness across the lifespan. We partner with children and youth, families and communities, and educators. That would be really great if they weren't seeking a particular focus. Okay. The Crown Institute is dedicated to building a world where every young person thrives. That means being supported by both caring relationships and inner resources. It means doing work that's focused not only on the mental health and wellness of children and young people, but also on the adults and systems in their lives. That would be so nice, wouldn't it? That's the director, Renee Crown, or excuse me, the director, Sona Dimidigian. She has a PhD, by the way, in psychology and neuroscience. She has a PhD and she is the professor of psychology and neuroscience. So I want to start with children and youth first, and you can see a little bit about what their agenda is with them. They start out obviously right away talking about mindfulness, compassion, sexual orientation, education associated with gender, race, ethnicity, linguistics, of course, all the other things, with a focus on access, justice, and dignity. This is a social justice program that they are putting on. This is what they're going to be doing. I want you to give me just a second because their verbiage gets very, very intense as it pertains to the LGBTQ community and exactly what they're here for. We already know that they are the ones that are putting out this sex camp. We already know they're funding it and all of that. But I want to get to um, the actual, there's so many different programs that they have. So hang on just a second. There is so many. They all have a focus on sexualization. All of them do. All the programs that they offer have something to do with gender identity, sexualizing of children, or thank you. Yeah, or social justice, all of them. Everything they do has an approach about that. There's a book that they've written that they're putting out right now. I want to share this with you guys too because you're going to see it everywhere on Barnes and Noble. You're going to see it everywhere. If you have a teacher that's reading it, beware because this is a social justice warrior book that is seeking to revise the language in which they speak. So they've been really harsh, right? So we caught them because they were saying a lot of really blatantly disturbing things. This book, Creating Compassionate Change in Schools in school communities, the verbiage is beautiful. The verbiage is non-combative, it is non-confrontational. They are teaching a whole new language surrounding the sexualization of children and calling it health, calling it mental health wellness, calling it compassion in schools. And this is what the left is very, very good at. This is what Satanists are very, very good at, making you doubt what you know you're seeing, making you doubt what you know you're reading, making you believe that you don't have any idea what you're talking about because it couldn't possibly be that bad, right? It couldn't possibly be that degenerate. It is that degenerate. So hang on just a second. I've got to find I had to turn everything off because Skype was not working and we were trying to reboot. So hang on just a second. Um, okay. All right. There we go. LGBTs, there's all kinds of things, undergraduates, certificates, blah, 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 integrative physiology. We're going to get back to that in just a second. So the Renee Crown site, I want everybody to go on there and just start looking through it and just check it out and see exactly what they are about and what they are attempting to do. This is a DEI program that is funded by taxpayers and the federal government as well, taxpayers again, And their whole mission is to establish social justice warriors and to challenge the innocence of children and literally take away their innocence. That's literally what they're about. That's what they're doing. Now, why is it so interesting to, okay, let's talk about the Crown family for just a minute. I'm going to catch you up on what's happening here. The Crown family is a $14.7 billion right now, at least that it shows online. That is their family worth right now. And just like all of the others, the Rothschilds, all those other families, they keep the wealth within the family. They work intergenerationally and they do not separate. Okay. So they all work with each other. Whether some may be more conservative than others, it doesn't matter. The wealth stays within the family. So right now, Google is saying they're at 14.7 billion, probably a lot more than that. The brother of Renee Crown is James Crown. If you've been here on America's Mom, you've heard me talk about this. Whitney Webb gives an incredible expose on James Crown, who he is, what he's about, what he's done, why he is trouble. James Crown was, excuse me, was the worked for, he didn't work for, his family owned General Dynamics. General Dynamics during the time of COVID and before had multiple contracts with the Department of Defense. They were one of the primary contractors who carried out the disbursement of the COVID vaccine across the country and the world. That's General Dynamics. You can read all about them. Go to Whitney Webb's page. She has done extensive research on the Crown family, James Crown in particular, his role in General Dynamics. The other thing about James Crown is the reality with him, his partnership. He took over from his father in 1987, became the president of JP Morgan and Chase. He is the largest shareholder of JP Morgan and Chase. For all of those years, he was at the helm. He was on the board, largest shareholder, intimately involved in all of the dealings of JP Morgan and Chase. Okay. And there's so much that you can learn about JP Morgan and Chase, their interactions, basic monopoly in the financial industry. Well, here's where it gets very interesting. You may or may not know that in 2022, questions began to arise about the funding and finance of Jeffrey Epstein. How was this man able to do all of the trafficking that he did? How was he able to move money around? Because in the financial system, you guys, if you go to take out $2,000 out of your bank account, they're going to have you sign a paper asking what's the money for and what are you going to do with it? They make you explain what you're going to do with your own money. You think when Jeffrey Epstein was taking out massive chunks of money and adding a lot of huge, huge deposits that there weren't questions being asked? Well, the Virgin Islands ended up suing JP Morgan and Chase on behalf of 109 complainants, where James Crown was at the helm of the lawsuit because he would have had to have known exactly what Epstein was doing, that he was using his funds for human trafficking. He would have known to some degree that Jeffrey Epstein was involved in some very no good activity. And at best, the report says he looked the other way. JP Morgan, or excuse me, JP Morgan and Chase ended up being sued for like over $200 million by these 109 women. And they ended up winning their suit in September of 23 and they were paid out. Now, here's where it gets very interesting. James Crown was at the center of this because he was the one who had the relationship with Epstein. Basically, they alluded to the relationship being such a good relationship, bringing in other clientele, very lucrative relationship, that they did not want to pull Jeffrey Epstein's account. They continued to fund him. They continued to allow him to work his, transcontinental organization, human trafficking organization, blackmail scheme through JP Morgan and Chase by their funding. Okay. That's what the case says. It was James Crown who was at the center of it all. In July of 2023, we held an event. My good friend, Chris Tribble, amazing guy, all of our great patriots throughout that valley, we lived there. We lived about an hour away, and we were tired of the Aspen elite impacting everything that we do, especially when you learned that General Dynamics, James Crown's business, was responsible for pushing out those COVID shots to everyone. Enforcement may have come through the government, but creation and distribution was a part of the Department of Defense, and they contracted with General Dynamics to do that. So we went there to talk about James Crown and his role in the weaponization of this bioweapon and government against regular people. At the same time, they were doing the Aspen Ideas Fest. James Crown, the Crown family, funds and supports the Aspen Ideas Fest and the Aspen Think Tank there. This liberal leftist lunatic group of people who host people like Liz Cheney. Liz Cheney got up there and defended herself. She was more than welcome in this group of progressive, liberal, leftist lunatics, globalists. You can't even believe what happened at that Aspen Ideas Fest. At the same time, we were holding the Aspen Fact Fest to counter what they were doing. We brought in tons of experts, just in a crazy, amazing time. And we actually prevented Fauci from being able to speak at that particular Aspen Ideas Fest because we were there, and the marshal felt he wasn't safe. So he didn't get to do his interview with the BBC or RPM, whatever it was. And promptly he returned to wherever he came from without being able to talk, which was awesome. We felt that was a win. But what was really fascinating is we wrapped up on a Saturday night and everybody went their separate ways. Sunday morning early, James Crown, after celebrating his 70th birthday, goes to the Roundy Round track there in Aspen, which, by the way, is extremely safe. Okay. This is Aspen. Like, they're not going to risk hurting themselves. The wealthy are not going to risk dying. Give me a break. You all can actually go Google the Aspen Roundy Round track and you'll see what I'm talking about. The side rail, the cement side rails are like, they're like 2 feet off the ground. This is not a dangerous track. You'd have to be trying to hurt yourself. And even then, I don't know if you could do it. Okay. And that is not just me saying that. That's other people saying that as well, saying you would have to be trying. And I don't even know then if you could do it because it was made, for the Aspen elite to drive their little fancy cars around and feel like they're race car drivers. And maybe some of them are good. I'm not trying to disparage. I think it's cool, but I'm just saying that the racetrack was not dangerous. Early that morning, Sunday morning, James Crown gets in his race car, has his helmet on, proceeds to go around the track. Don't know how many times, don't know what happened, and supposedly hits the 2 foot. So he supposedly loses control around a corner and rams into the cement side block there and dies from blunt force trauma. Except, well, actually, just kidding. We don't really know if it was blunt force trauma, although when the sheriff arrived to check his body, the original report said signs of blunt force trauma. In September, shortly before the ruling of the court on the Virgin Islands lawsuit against JP Morgan and Chase, finally his autopsy was released. James Crown autopsy was released. So he dies in July. His autopsy is finally released in September, just before the ruling. And it's declared they're not really sure. They're going to lean more towards blunt force trauma, but they really don't know. They say that he had a clogged aorta valve. And so maybe he had a heart attack and lost control. And then that's when he died, but they don't think so because it doesn't look like he had a cardiac arrest. It is bizarre. I posted all the links on Facebook, guys. You can go check out all the stories and read the autopsy report there. It is a wild story. People in Aspen, obviously, we were all exchanging text messages on the morning of, and we're talking with people who know what they're talking about in Aspen, and they're like, this is shady, shady. He's 70 years old. This family, I was just talking to someone who lives there, who was one of the primary people we spoke to right away. And I was just kind of reaffirming that we all think this is shady, right? And they're like, oh, yeah. Listen, this family lives into their 90s. He's the owner of General Dynamics. They have access to things that people like you and I do not have access to. I guarantee he was going to the doctor at least twice a year or his specialist to check and make sure he's doing good. People do that. Wealthy people do that. People who are concerned about their health do that. They get blood draws. They go check their hormones. They check their heart. They ultrasound their whole body to see what's going on with their internal organs, you guys. This is not unusual, okay? Not for those who either are health conscious or wealthy. And especially when you have generational wealth that you're trying to preserve, you're going to be getting checkups routinely. How they didn't know he had a blockage in his heart, I just don't even know if that, I don't know. That's what listen, that's what it says. But they can't determine that he had a heart attack. So what does that mean? I don't know what that means. So that's James Crown. And he is ultimately, he was responsible for Jeffrey Epstein having the money to do all of the trafficking he did, the blackmailing that he did. And he was promptly put out. I guess he hit a corner at a round racetrack in Aspen, and guess what? All loose ties are done. And we still don't have the Epstein file, do we? We still don't have it, do we? Think on that for a minute. So Renee Crown is part of this family. She's the sister. She has funded this, and by the testimonies of those of you who have been dropping comments and on all of our social media, there is a woman who was at CU Boulder back in the 1990s saying this was already beginning. Gender ideology, fluidity, non-binary crap was already happening at CU Boulder, but now they've just created an entire wing, and now they're not hiding it. Now they're like, hey, we're so safe in the state of Colorado under Jared Polis that we don't even have to worry about it. We literally can have open camps, grooming camps, where we can just publicly invite people to come for free and drop their kids off to us for 11 days, and we'll do whatever we want, right? So, so, so much more. This is scary stuff. This is like they're not hiding it. They're not even trying to pretend with you. And anyone who drops their kids off to this whole thing, you are complicit. You are complicit. There should be an investigation into you. There should be an investigation into this entire school. Bannon said it really good today. He said that there needs to be evaluations. Obviously, President Trump has said there needs to be evaluations on these universities. This is why. This is taxpayer money that's going to fund this in conjunction with this Boulder Valley Healthcare. Are the medical institutions involving themselves in controversial social programs? This is very weird. This is like, it's a very interesting collaboration of elites and social engineering. Why do we have a neuroscience? Why do we need neuroscience to be heading up an organization like this that is simply involved in social matters? Why is there a psychologist? That makes a little more sense, but a neuroscience and a psychologist involved in this? Why are they the ones that are conducting this sex camp for kids? It's very MK Ultra. Neil, what do you, I know you are totally knowing all this stuff that's going on. What do you think about Boulder, Jared Polis's hometown, and their new sex camp?
Well, it's fitting. It goes right into, I guess, what Colorado is becoming or has become, which was Michelle Obama's book, Becoming. So maybe they're kind of taking their lead from the Obamas. Maybe they're becoming something. It is. Tell me you're a pedophile without telling me you're a pedophile. Like they pretty much are saying it. It's just a little bit of code language. And what is this whole justice thing? I'm I'm confused about that. So I've got it pulled up here too.
Okay.
You already went over some of this, but some of the topics will include bodies beyond the binary. Isn't that cute that they use all those B words? Oh, wow, that's really neat. Bodies beyond the binary. What exactly does that mean? Like, what is a body beyond the binary? You mean like bodies beyond male and female? What is that? Maybe I should go to this camp because I'm not sure if I really understand that either. Some other topics would be the mysteries of puberty. You know, the stuff that parents are talking about with their kids. They would rather you drop your kids off and let's talk about your private parts. Can we have a
Yeah.
conversation about private parts? Feelings and how to navigate them, gender and sexuality, of course, consent and communication. Let's talk about consent and communication with these 10-year-olds, relationships, self love. And listen, there's so much more, it says. This justice rooted camp will help guide your young people in their curiosities and navigate their changing bodies and this changing world. So I think two things are happening here. Okay, so one is the obvious. One is that Colorado is pushing the boundaries in every opportunity they get. They're kind of this hub state for everything that's woke, everything that's woke ideology, everything that has to do with things that are not natural, neutral, or normal, and things that have to do with our children. And so
Mhm.
they're pushing the line. They're trying to set a precedent and say, hey, look, we're doing it. So it must be okay. And we're being funded by taxpayers and universities and these neat little organizations that they're just benevolent. They just want to help your children and it's free. That's one
Mhm.
thing that's happening. But the second thing that's happening, you guys in Colorado and beyond, is that you're being trolled. They are trolling you. They know that you're going to be outraged. This is an in your face, spit in the face of all the voters who voted against this stuff. The overwhelming majority of the country voted against wokeness. They voted for common sense values. And that's why there's been a change in administration. It was an overwhelming vote against this crap, the
Mhm.
far left wing sexualizing of kids woke agenda. So you're being trolled, Colorado,
Well,
and
let
they're wanting to make you mad. They're
mhm.
wanting to. And I'm going to tell you
Okay.
here in a minute what we can do about it.
Okay, hang on just a second because I want to just show everybody. So this is the wellness clinic, the health center that is partnering with CU Boulder and Renee Crown's Wellness Institute. This is Boulder Valley Health Center. They have a very special affection for gender affirming care. So you saw that there's a little clinic chat assistant, and I put in there, I'm confused about my gender. And so let's find out how they respond to which one do you want me to pick? How are people assigned at birth? What is gender? Which one do you want me to pick so we can just see how they respond to this? I'm very
What
curious.
is gender?
Okay, what is gender? Let's see what they say. Gender is the way that people can define and describe themselves inside and out, especially how they feel as masculine, feminine, both and or beyond. Gender includes social constructed roles, behaviors, expressions, and identities, and it varies over time and varies by someone's culture. Gender is self-determined. Gender is self-determined. Wow. Okay. How about gender identity?
It's fluid.
Let's see. Gender identity is someone's internal sense of self and awareness. This may be man, boy, woman, girl, neither or both. Gender identity is not limited or defined by two options. Okay, what I'm gonna say right now is if you're thinking of taking yourself to Boulder Valley Health Center, they're not like founded in reality. This is the nonsense they're saying. This is not scientific. This is a belief system. Boulder Valley Health Center is a cult. If you are thinking about taking your child there, you might want to reconsider because you're going to have doctors who are asking you to leave the room so they can ask these questions to your child. What are you having gender questions? Are you confused? I wanted to just point out the services that this place offers. So in my mind, I was thinking, you know, Neil, you always say if you know motive, you know everything. What are they trying to do? And I'm like, why would I put on a free anything? Well, I'm trying to get more clients. I want to expand my reach. I want people to know about me. And I was like, oh my God, that's what they're doing. Boulder Valley Health Center wants more customers. Look at this, you guys. This is their gender affirming care and hormone therapy. Look at what they offer. Of course, mental health support. It's 2025. Social support. We're going to offer guidance on ways to change your social expression, including your chosen name and pronouns. They will be telling these children all the legal avenues to get out from under their parents and do whatever this weird nonsense is. Neil, you talk about this all the time. Voice therapy. Why do we need voice therapy?
We can provide referrals to trusted practitioners for service. Oh boy.
Hmm.
So they're yeah. So part of your gender affirming care and your
Hmm.
social support and choosing
Hmm.
what you are. If
Hmm.
I decided that I'm a woman, I'm going to need some little voice therapy, aren't I? To raise my pitch a little bit. And then you know what, guys? You know what's neat? There's YouTube videos that can help with
Oh yeah.
this. But here's what's
They're
even
good.
better. There's a
Mhm.
whole sex camp, a whole pedo sex camp that they're doing for free in Colorado where you can go get your voice therapy. I'm sure that'll be a huge part of it.
It's gonna be amazing. So you guys, this is the organization, this is the quote health center that is partnering. They want more customers. That's what I see happening here. And I know everybody wants a way out of this. By the way, the call to action for this really is we have to be calling the university. And we're reaching out to the regents right now. Like I said, Ray Scott, I reached out to contacted him today. We need to make sure they know exactly what's going on, but that's not really that's not the bigger issue here. So Neil, walk us through what the bigger issue is and why do we keep funding these universities? Why are we sending our kids to places, to stores, to consume products from people that don't give two cares about us and are still continuing down this path of destruction of our children? I don't get it.
Yeah, I would say there's only about 10%, of Coloradans that actually are for this kind of thing and that actually want to send their kids there. So what is happening? If there's 80 or 90% of people that don't want this, why does this keep happening? I'll tell you why. It's because
Mhm,
they always have the good people back on their heels. And then we go on the defensive. So what really the solution is for us to go on the offensive and not just call for this to be shut down. That's a start, but that's not nearly enough. We have to go on the offensive and figure out, get to the root of this. Who thinks it's okay to put on something like this? It sounds to me like there's criminal intent here and potentially something investigative worthy. So we
Mhm.
need to start calling the
Mhm.
authorities. I would say Boulder Police Department, the Sheriff's Department, the Human Services Department, finding the emails for these contacts in there as well, saying and asking those important questions. To me, just be honest and let them know.
Mhm.
This sounds like a grooming event. This has pedophilia tones all throughout it. I'm very concerned about it. Put together
Mhm.
an email and start sending the emails to them. And I would be turning this over to the authorities. I would call, let's see if we can get the local FBI to actually do something worthy of their time. I mean, they were willing to beat down people's doors and put people in jail who were concerned about election fraud. What about people who are concerned about getting 10-year-olds to a sexual, sex, pedophile, whatever it is, camp? Isn't that worthy of people going and seeing, uh, uh, knocking down a door? If it's worthy of knocking down a door to find out if somebody's, concerned about election fraud, maybe it's worthy of knocking down a door to see if somebody has, I don't know, child porn on their laptop or on their
Right.
phone.
An
I would
actual
say
menace.
yes. And people, you guys in Colorado need to start forming groups, putting together emails, putting together phone campaigns, looking up numbers. It's right there. You don't have to look too hard. Just Google Boulder sex camp for kids. It comes right up. All the flyers come up. The contact information comes up. The emails come up. The phone numbers come up. Put
I
together
love
an
this.
email that you can send and that you can share with your group, and they can share with their group and their groups and their groups, and keep going until you flood their emails so much that they're tired of hearing from it, and until this is on enough radio stations and outlets and social media outlets and podcasts that they shut this thing down. And not stopping there, but we need to go on the offensive and say who thinks that this is okay, and is this person purposely trying to put together a scenario where we're grooming children for the summer?
Wow, you're right. Hey, you guys, it's all over Google. They're not ashamed. They're not embarrassed. They're not
That's
embarrassed at all.
and that's the second thing that I was getting at. They're doing this on purpose in the face of this new administration, in the face of the anti-woke administration, and those of us, the majority, the overwhelming majority who voted against this, are doing it in your face, saying, "What are you going to do about it? We're going to do this.
Wow.
We're going to groom your kids. What are you going to do about it? Nothing you can do anyway." So they think you're going to sit around and get mad and be upset and then just forget about it.
Mhm.
That's not the way it works, you guys. And Sharon and I have been very involved in actually making people re-examine what they're doing and why they're doing it, and getting things very vocal, putting together community events, and it works. Not
Mhm.
complaining about it to your neighbor, but saying, here's a call to action. Call the Boulder police, call the sheriff's department, tell them your concerns about it. Call the FBI, tell them your concerns. Put together an email, write the verbiage, share it with your friends. Get
Yes.
the emails sent out, track how many emails are being sent. Put together a phone calling campaign. The phone number's right there, they list it on the flyer. Put together a phone calling campaign with you, your neighbors, grandmas, grandpas, parents. Everybody should be involved. And it doesn't just have to be in Boulder. It should be all throughout Colorado. It should be primarily in Colorado. It shouldn't be people in other states trying to do this work. And we've seen people on there saying, "Oh, I really hope that Trump puts a stop to all this." Like, forget that mentality, you guys. Forget it. It's we the people's job. These are our communities. This is our state. It's the job of we the people to shut this stuff down and to go on the offensive and to say you're not going to get away with it, especially not when it comes to our children. So we can't rely on the Trump administration just to swoop in and fix it while we keep ourselves entertained by whatever we're entertaining ourselves with and hoping that it all changes. We have to take action, and the action works. The phone campaigns work. The email campaigns work. And I would think that, this is something that we've talked about for a long time now. When you see concerning things from teachers to students in the schools, I don't even care if it's in the textbooks. If you see concerning things in the textbooks that are grooming your child or talking to them about inappropriate stuff about their naked bodies or whatever it is, you need to call the authorities,
Mhm.
not just the school administrator, not just the principal and the teacher, the authorities, and say, I think we might have criminal charges here. And that's the way that this is too. and beyond. It's everything. It's and beyond. It's all sorts of ways that we're not even going to expound on here. We're going to talk about pleasure with your 10-year-old
This
in
is
all sorts of ways.
I want to know what parent out there has ever sat down and done that. I mean, this is, you don't, this isn't real life. You don't, that's not what you do.
Or
We
yeah, a
take,
parent that, and here just real quick, a parent that
yeah.
says, "Here, when was the last time as a parent you went out on the street and grabbed a stranger and said, "Hey, would you talk to my kid about pleasure in all sorts of ways, about consent and communication, about gender and sexuality, and in their bodies and puberty? Would you talk to them about it? I'm going to go do my shopping. You sit here out here, or take my kid wherever you want. I don't know what you're going to be doing. I'm going to be going doing my thing, but just talk to them about all that stuff. Thank you." That's what
Yeah.
you're doing when you send your kid to it. I don't care if it has a government stamp on it or a CU Boulder sanctioned stamp. This is where the stuff is happening, you guys. I wouldn't care if it said this is just Sunday school time or a church
Mhm.
time with your kid, and here's what we're going to be talking about. No, doesn't matter. That's where this stuff happens. Doesn't matter what stamp they put on it or to make
Mhm.
it look official or like it's just the good, benevolent government entities and colleges caring about your children. We know this may be too much for you parents to talk about. And even the schools, they don't even go far enough. Hand them over to us. We have professionals and experts that love to talk to 10-year-olds about
Yeah.
sexuality.
And this is CU Boulder. They can't say they don't know about it. It is listed as an event on their buff calendar. They are hosting it, they are promoting it, they are sharing it. And they did say literally on there that summer camp is everything your camper won't always get to learn in school. Keep in mind, we've been
Oh,
seeing
neat.
the videos coming out of these teachers doing comprehensive sex education in your public schools, and they're teaching your kids now about booty plugs. Okay, so I mean, what else could they
Disgusting.
possibly have to teach your children about between the hours of 8:30 and 3:30 for 11 days straight for free with a woman who is the professor of psychology and neuroscience? I can only imagine. To me, again, I think this is some very bizarre, weird research project that they're going to do on these kids. And since you're bringing, if people actually do this, if they actually bring their children to this camp. First of all, I only hope that we will have parents who are there filming, recording, and reporting these parents immediately, because I cannot believe for one second that someone who would devastate their child's innocence does not have other their other plans for their child.
Motives,
Okay.
agendas. Real,
Motives.
real quick,
Yes.
Sharona, what is
Yeah.
your, again, just real quick so people understand, you drew a really, you connected the dots. So connect the dots one more time because you've got this stuff going
Yeah.
on and then you've got Epstein. How did you connect the dots over to Epstein? It's really interesting. It's fascinating.
Well, this is the Crown family. We talk about these billionaire families that do disgusting, degenerate things. I'm starting to think this might be one of them. I obviously Renee Crown. She is the founder of the Renee Crown Wellness Institute here at CU Boulder. She is the one. They are advancing this. This is their agenda. The homosexual. It's not just homosexual. It's the trans agenda on children. It's very clear as day on her site, on the Crown Wellness Institute site at CU Boulder, that they are doing research on trans ideology. That's what they're doing on children. It's a social engineering project. Then you've got James Crown, her brother over here, who was the lead shareholder in JP Morgan and Chase after running JP Morgan and Chase for decades. And he ends up being in the center, in the middle, accusations flying at him directly for knowing full well that JP Morgan and Chase was funding the trafficking and blackmailing projects of Jeffrey Epstein. They end up
Hmm.
settling with over 109 women in the Virgin Islands cases established. 109 women are paid out millions of dollars by JP Morgan and Chase in 2023. And oh, what do you know? Poor James Crown ends up dying from blunt force trauma in a roundy round incident at the little tiny racetrack in Aspen, Colorado in July of 2023. Tying up loose ends is what I think, but what do I know? I'm just a mom.
Well, I just think that's fascinating. And you guys just heard that from America's Mom. You want to hear that anywhere else? How this, this, well, she's not only good at connecting people, she's good at connecting the dots between what's going on locally, apparently in Boulder. And it's a funny little connecting the dots game that goes all the way to Epstein's Island. And you go, huh, that's interesting. This little sex camp for kids and connected to the crowns.
Like
connected to the
Renee
crown
Trump.
that just
Yes.
died of blunt force
Yeah.
trauma, that was connected to Epstein, that was connected to settling with 900 women, you said, or I mean,
109 women.
109.
109
You
women.
you can't make this stuff up.
Hey, you know what? Renee was smarter. She's like, listen, we don't need a middleman. We don't need an Epstein. We'll just go direct. This is Colorado. This is Polis land. Polis will not only support us, he'll write legislation to protect us if anybody comes after us legally, to
Yep.
give us a license to groom, sexualize, and whatever else they're going
Well, I think,
consent, right?
yeah.
Consent,
Well, and to Polis's credit, he's got a lot of experience in that kind of thing. So that's
apparently.
right up his
Apparently.
alley.
By
So,
the way, I'm surprised there's been no comments about my earrings because
uh-oh. Oh, that's the conspiracies are
I
going to be
just I just don't
rolling.
want people to forget. We still
Okay.
do not have the Epstein files. We do
We
not have
don't.
them yet.
Yep, Pam. We're still waiting. We're
Come on,
waiting for a
Pam.
lot of things. That's one
Come
of
on, Pam.
them.
We're not covering for
So
these degenerates
I
anymore.
I'm gonna have to jam.
Yes. Well, actually, before you go, I want to remind everybody we have
Oh,
you
this
know,
Sunday.
we have a great sponsor. Yes, great sponsor that works with us of Moms for America and Moms for America actually, but works with us here at America's Mom. And we want to invite all of you guys out for a get your butt in gear.
Get your butt in
This
shape.
was there was zero transition into this, so I do apologize. It's just we're just gonna do it. So
Get
uh,
your butt in shape.com.
yes. Getyourbuttonshape.com. Go and register,
Sign
except
up.
for everybody can register except for Carolyn Adams. She says that I am known as, I don't even know what this means. America's Magda Goebbels. Did
Magda
she,
Goebbels.
I
She's
just
a
love her.
Nazi. Hey, you know what? Actually, that's one of the nicer things you've been called.
You know what? Carolyn's
Thank you,
showing some restraint.
Carolyn. Yeah, thanks for showing restraint. There's some other words we can't
Mm,
really say on live feed that Sharon has been called, but Nazis, that's
yeah.
that's special.
I mean,
That is
it's
special.
typical. It's
Yep.
typical.
Carolyn
Uh,
Adams. Carolyn
I,
Adams, thank you for you
yeah.
got your 15 seconds of fame. We so
Yeah.
appreciate the trolls. We love
She's not
trolls.
invited, though. She's
No,
not
you're not
invited.
invited. You
She's
can't
not
come.
invited.
But
No.
all the rest of you can come to our special Zoom, and it's
Yes.
getyourbuttInshape.com. You guys, it is now the time to take control of your health.
We're
So
so
we're
excited.
inviting all of the members that we have currently in our conservative manufacturer. They're coming. We
Yes.
might even hear some testimonials about how they've
Yes.
been they've been changed. These are truly life-changing products. This is a life-changing company that we're with.
Yes.
We absolutely love them. And so, yeah, come out. We're gonna have some fun Sunday at 5 p.m. Central Time. And you got to go to getyourbuttInshape.com. You got to go to Get Your Butt in Shape.
That's right.
GetyourbuttInshape.com.
I
Let's
want to
do it.
say George Friedman just did an incredible interview with Tucker Carlson, by the way. And just like Peter Navarro, just like Steve Bannon, just like President Trump, just like Mike Lindell, George Friedman said the fastest way for America to get back on her feet and continue to lead the world. He just said this yesterday. I watched it yesterday. He just said American manufacturing. You
Mm.
guys, we are working with one of the most elite American manufacturers who are bringing everyday products that are clean, they're toxin free, they're absolutely phenomenal. They are mission focused on putting America first, American workers first, and
Ooh.
restoring the greatness of America. That
That
is how
sounds
we
you,
get this
you
country
sound like
back
a
on track.
you sound like a Nazi.
Well,
Wow.
I suppose I'm a nationalist, I guess.
You
I just
like
love my
do you like America, you
I
Nazi?
love my
Ew.
country. I love
Ew.
my country, and you know that I love protecting the innocence of children. And if you guys value that also, I want to encourage you. Not only can you sign up for our great Zoom on Sunday, but please go to shopwithpatriots.com to get more information about our great sponsor and to be a part of this mission focused club. It is a club, but it's a good club. And you want to be a part of it. American manufacturing is the pathway forward. You're going to love what we have to offer. And I am very, very excited for all of you to introduce you to this great, great, great company. And then I also want to just give a huge shout out to Mike Lindell also before we wrap up today. Mike Lindell has been under unbelievable pressure. Now, I don't know, I never know if he's going to get upset with things I say, but I will just say this. I've never seen somebody more resilient, more hopeful, more optimistic in the absolute worst situations life could possibly present to you. And this guy is He's not just a little engine that could. He can and he will. He will get through everything that has been thrown at him. But I want to remind everybody that his trial against Coomer, the defamation case with what's his name? Eric Coomer of Dominion Voting Machines, you guys. That defamation case, Eric Coomer sued Mike Lindell for $5 billion. Okay. That case is going to be, I hope I said that right. He sued him for a lot of money. That case starts in 35 days. And I know that Mike Lindell is not being dramatic when he says it's gone. All that wealth, all that money, all that prosperity that he built for himself and his family, it is gone. It's gone. And the Lindell Offense Fund is not used for Mike Lindell's defense at all. We do not use that for anything pertaining to his cases at all. So I believe that there's going to be something separate set up for him, a fund for his legal defense. Why it hasn't happened, I don't know. I guess somebody needs to do it. So we're going to find a way to do that. But I want everybody to be thinking about him, what you can do, what you can contribute, how you can help, because he is going to need it. And quite frankly, he deserves it. He is also somebody that no matter what you say about him, no matter what you do, no matter how you come out against him or whatever, it doesn't matter. He always does the right thing. It's crazy to be around that kind of integrity. So I just want to encourage everybody to keep Mike Lindell in your prayers. Also, if you're going to be shopping at My Pillow anytime soon, use my code MOM, MOM. Go do all of your Christmas and July shopping. Go do all of your graduation gift shopping, right? Great gifts you can purchase for upcoming graduates if they're moving into new dorms. Get them the pillow set, get them the towel set. It's amazing. I love the Giza sheets. I don't know if a college kid should have Giza sheets, but if you think they should, get them. The puppy bed, the dog bed is amazing. Our dog loves it. We've had it for years now. It's very, very durable, washes out beautifully. Love it. Go check it out today. That's mypillow.com and use the code MOM, and just please keep Mike Lindell in your prayers. I've never seen anything like it. There is a reason he has been so wildly successful in life. He will be again. I have no doubt. God's going to restore everything, everything, everything that the Lotus took from him. So, you guys, thank you for being with us today, letting us share with you what's going on, giving that update on Clartina Peters, and of course, the crazy pedophile predicament of Colorado, led by the governor Jared Polis, and apparently CU Boulder. Tremendous times we're living in, isn't it? If we want something different, we have to do something different. We are the solution that we're waiting for. We are who we are looking for. Stop looking to government. Stop looking to President Trump. Get out there and do what is right. Do what's in the best interest of your community. Your people are waiting for you. Thank you guys for being with us today on America's Mom.